Bassheads, what's good? Good morning. Let's go on and get this music theory thing a little more solid. And I'm going to try to do this in a way that is going to make sense. And I'm going to keep doing it periodically, going over this theory thing to bring it home, right? So I do have some notes. You'll catch me looking at some notes, but I thought this might be a good way to do it. All right, so I want you to imagine a bright sunny day and there's a family reunion. All right, let's do that. So we're going to do everything in the key of A major, right in the middle of the neck. That's mom. We're going to call the one chord mom. Right? She's solid. She runs the house. She's dependable. When you're around mom, you feel solid. You feel, you know what I mean? Relaxed. That's the one chord. Let's call 5 the dad. Now, this is why I think it's tough for bass players to get theory, is because especially pop players. And when I say pop, I mean funk, rock, blues, not jazz. I'm saying not jazz because if you walking bass lines, you want to get a better understanding of harmony, walking bass lines, because you have to know how notes work, right? But a lot of pop bass players miss that because we don't start off that way. We start off playing riffs and things like that, and so we just don't get that information until later. So let's say I played There's Mom, the one chord. Okay? She's solid and dependable. And then there's Dad. Dad isn't too subtle. And he wants you to go back to mom. He wants order. He wants get back to mom. Now, this may be a crummy story, but there's 5, 1. And because we don't normally play chords or dyads, because really I'm playing the root and the flat 7 of the 5 chord, and I'm playing the root and the major 10th, which is the same as the major 3rd but an octave higher, for the one chord. Let me stop and talk about that for just a second. You do not need to know how to play chords on bass unless you want to and you are composing and you're trying to get into that thing, right? There are notes that define or inform the color of a chord. For instance, that is a note by itself. That note could be any note, depending on the context. It could be anything. But once I put in that flat 7, I have implied its dominance, right? But there's no 3rd, so it could also be a, you know what? I've implied that it's a 5 chord, okay? With this note, once I play that 10th, I've implied it's major. So now we hear, Okay, 1, mom, stable, comforting, right? Solid. Dad, you can hear it, wants to go back and resolve to 1. Okay, now what about 4? Let's call 4 the big sister. I wrote these notes down, so you're going to keep seeing me look at notes. She's a peacekeeper, right? She's the one that says, come on, let's go. We're going to go for a drive. We're going to clear our heads. But she doesn't want, she's not like a wild child or anything. She's just like, we're going to take off. We're going to drive down to Target. You know what I mean? She sounds like this. Sorry. Now I'm playing the root and the major 7 just to get you to hear. Let me. Dig. In Star Wars, how everybody's got a theme. Luke Skywalker has a theme. Darth Vader. If you hear dun 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 dun, you know that it's on some imperial thing, right? You know that it's them. So what I just went over was the major sounding chords in a major key. So let's say here's mom's theme. Let's say that's mom's theme. Let's give dad a theme. That's going to be dad's theme for now. It's not going to be Barney Miller. It's going to be dad's theme. Okay? Let's give big sister a theme. Now, I'm not going to remember all of those, but my point is, what characteristics do we know about mom or the one chord? We know that she's got this note, which we call a major, we call the 1, the root, a major 2nd, major 3rd, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6th, major 7, and an octave. We know those are her notes, right? We go to 5, dad. What does he have? He's got a root, a major 2nd, major 3rd, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6th. Ooh, he's got that flat 7. And then an octave. Big sister, root. Major 2nd, major 3rd, sharp 4. Perfect 5th. Major 6, major 7, and an octave. Why on earth, you might be wondering, why did I skip the 2 and the 3? We're in the 6, we're in the 7. We're getting there. We're getting there, right? There's a video I did a while back where I said, if you were going to learn some modes first, learn first, not last, not only, but first, learn Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian. They're bedrocks of music, right? Of Western music. I mean, all of them are important, but I said learn those first. Okay. So, hold please. I'm going to engage with the chat a little bit after I get through these points. I love talking to you guys, but if I start talking to you, I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to get off what I'm trying to do this morning. All right? So, but I want to Type a 1 in the chat if it's making sense so far. Let's see. Let me close this note here. Whoopsies. Just close the note. Delete the note. Joshua, I'm going to be playing at the Bourbon O Bar playing some blues at the Bourbon O Bar on the 8th. See, this is why I can't be looking at the chat. So let's talk about now the little brother. We're going to call the little brother the 2 chord, right? Now, let's say the little brother, he's a little emo. He's got lo-fi beats running in his head 24/7. He journals, right? And he supports dad's theory, but doesn't raise his voice. So dad always wants you to go back home, right? But instead of being overbearing or dominant, like dad, maybe I'm just like my father. That seemed like an appropriate place to do that. And I'm gonna just go with what I feel. Instead of doing that, he whispers, hey, you should go home. You'll feel better. Want to meditate? Check it. 2, 5, 1. Little brother, dad, back to mom. Does that make sense? It's goofy, I know, but here's the little brother. There's little brother. Should we give little brother a theme? I'm also purposely trying to not go out of this position until I have to, right? Until I'm absolutely forced to go out of this position, just for what we're doing here. All right. So that's the little brother, 2 minor. Now we got the middle child, which is 3. He's also minor, right? He'll show up late. Nobody notices. Everybody kind of forgets that he exists, right? And let's say he's the guy who says, man, I just don't believe in tonic resolution, man. I just, he might smoke a little real. He's got a root, a minor second, a minor third. Look at that. Since we're playing single lines as bass players, we don't hear this. But you stick around, I think I'm going to pull out the keyboard and we're going to bring this home before we close it out. So stick around. So there's 3. Now we got, let's just move forward. Now, we started with the 3 major chords, and then we started talking about the minor chords. 2 is minor, 3 is minor, and now we've got the emo cousin that lives in the basement, right? Who really thinks, I could be 1. I could replace 1, and often does, right? Let's play it here. doing is finding different places to play the same exact set of notes. You dig? So 1 is major, 4 is major, 5, if it's a 3-note chord, is major, but when we bring that 7th in there, it's dominant. So those are our 3 major chords. Then we've got 3 minor chords, 2, 3, and 6. Now, 7, we're going to call him the sketchy uncle, right? He smelled like diesel and bad decisions, right? But him and dad are tight, right? They have the same function. They want to go back home to mom. They want to go back home. That's their job, right? That's their job function, right? So 7, oops, I played the wrong note. That 7 right there, da, da, wants to lead right into 1. Something is going on with my central air right now, and you guys might start noticing beads of sweat. It might be time to change the filter, but it done got warm in here all of it. Yeah, man, why is my thing set to 82 degrees? What's wrong with me? I'm in Louisiana. Listen, I'm going to pull out the keyboard. This is what we do in the morning sometimes, right? Hang on a second. What's wrong with me? With all this rigmarole. I haven't even gone to the gym yet, but we pulling out the keyboard now. What's up, Joe? All right, here we go. Yeah, man, the humidity. Gee, love, you know something about this humidity. Okay, all right, we back. Yeah, man, I had the AC. I had the AC set to like 80. I don't know what that was all about. Okay, here we go. Got the native instruments happening here. I rarely use the sounds in this, so. But this is what we're gonna do. Yo, what is going on here? That ain't what we want. But that's a cool sound, though. You just hold your horses, people. That's what I'm looking for, right there. Let me know if you guys can hear the keyboard. One of the absolute best things you can do, one of the absolute best things you could do as a bass player is get friendly with the piano. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about it again. Let's go back into this. I'm getting all these notifications this morning. Today is my goddaughter's first day as a teacher, right? Okay, Here's our, we're going to stick with the key of C major. All the white keys, right? Because it's easier right now. It's easier at this juncture to just, you know. I feel like this keyboard has some latency. So, one, its function, its job is to feel like rest, like home. Feels stable, doesn't it? Just like we called it mom, just like mom, everything's better with mom, right? There is a subdominant. Now here's where we get to like college level talk, right? The subdominant, the 4, creates motion. The 4, it just takes us away from home. So here's 1. I played a major 7. I'm sorry, I didn't want to do that. There's 1. Here's 4. Just takes us away from home. One of the things I think a good practice thing as a bass player or just a musician, period, if you know where 1 is, right? And you know where 4 is, just spend some time practicing going between 1 and 4. Just practice going between 1 and 4. I'm only for those of you just joining, I'm only playing it on a keyboard right now so you can hear it, right? We play bass, single line instruments, we lose the context, so we don't hear it, okay? 1, 4. Now the dominant 5, okay, builds tension and brings us back to 1. That's its job. Here's 5. Just that chord by itself, you probably hear it. You want it to do that. You hear that note? That note wants to go back there. You dig? Type a 1 in the chat if you got me. Type a 1 in the chat if you got me. So those are the chords that have major triads on the bottom. Let me say that again. Those are the chords that have major triads on the bottom. If I only play triads, here's 1, here's 4, here's 5. Just triads. But now if I play sevenths, that adds another flavor to that 1 chord. Now I'm going to play the 4 chord as a major 7. Jazzy sounding. Jazzy sounding. Let's try that again. Here's 1. Here's 4. 1 again. 4. Now I could be using different voices, but voicings. I could use different voicings, but number 1, my keyboard skills. Number 2, it's easier to hear. Now watch 5. Sorry. Still four notes, but dang. You can hear it yourself. Kyle teaches bass. Kyle says the 5 chord be like you ain't gotta go home. But you got to get the hell up out of here. What a great analogy. Gosh darn it. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys pray for me. I quit smoking. I smoked for years and years and years, and I quit. And then I got stressed out. And I started smoking again. And then I smoked for about 5 years. And then I quit. And then I got addicted to nicotine lozenges. That's a lot to share in a public forum, but what are you going to do? Good morning, good day. So y'all got those 3 major chords. They got major triads on the bottom. Got major triads on the bottom. Lewis says, I think you're a wonderful bass player, but you're teaching in rocket science mode. Can you get a little bit more down to layman's mode? Only if you get here when the lesson starts. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. The bass heads will tell you, I give you a little crap sometimes. So let me address that real quick. After the stream is over, go back. So right now you're kind of jumping in the middle of a thing. All right? So I want you to go back. I also want you to understand that this is not something that you may not get this right on the first deal. You got to hear it in context. You got to come back. More coffee. My piano teacher would slap a hand. There's our major scale. That's home. It's major. It's 1. Happy. Then there's the 4 chord. It's also major. It's happy. But it's still a departure from home. 5 is dominant. It says, go back home. Those are the 3 major chords in a major scale. There are also 3 minor chords in a major scale, and now we're going to talk about those. That's 2. That's the 2 chord. The 2 chord is like the emo little brother, right? Now, in the college world, in the rocket science world, they call that the subdominant. But the role of this is sort of let's say it's a gentle nudge to go back to home. A gentle nudge. But the 2 chord oftentimes leads to the 5. This is where you get, that's a bad voicing. That's not a hip voicing. But 2, 5, 1. Matter of fact, you know why it sounds boopy? That's a Bay Area term right there. Yay area. Listen, you know why it sounds boopy right there? Cause ain't no roots, ain't no bottom. Watch this. 2. Ooh, my piano skills are lacking today. 5. Come on, dude. 1, 2, 5, 1. Right? That 2 goes into 5, leads us back to 1. It feels like, let's go out for a walk before the shit gets real. Let's go back home. Now, now we're going to talk about the 3 chord. The 3 chord is a weirdo, okay? The 3 chord is a weirdo. I'm going to say that again. The 3 chord is a weirdo. It's ambiguous. Excuse me. A lot of things going on here. Aww. So, I have to stop here. Today is my goddaughter's first day as a teacher. Her first day as a teacher. Those of you know, I was a teacher for a long time. Maybe some of those skills are a little rusty first thing in the morning, but I was a teacher for over a decade. Anyway, I told her, I said, look, if you ever have to talk tough to a kid, you have to do it in the cloakroom. And her dad was standing right there, and he looked at me, and he's shaking his head. And he says, she doesn't know what a cloakroom is. And I was like, you don't know what a cloakroom is? She's like, no, what's a cloakroom? And I was like, am I old enough to have gone to school that close to people who wore cloaks to school? To where they were still calling it a cloakroom, like Harry Potter? Anyway, the 3 chord is minor, okay? It can fill in for 4, but it's weaker and less conclusive. How do you like that? Check this out. Here's 1. Damn it, I should have an overlay with the chords on the screen. I'm going to do that next time. There are the notes for the 1 chord. C, in this case, C, E, and G. Right? Here are the notes for the 3 chord. E, G, and B. They're all the same notes. Now, if I put that C, E, and G together, and then I add a B, holy smokes, what is that? That's a C major 7. Let me take the C away. E minor. Let me put the C back in. I'm going to put the C in lower. Now I have a C major 7. This is what I think it was Sting said, it's not a chord until the bass player says so, or, something to that effect. So if I play E, G, and B, that's an E minor chord. The bass player plays C, now that's a C major 7 chord. But sometimes what you'll hear, and listen, I know that this is going to go over somebody's head, but here's the beautiful thing about the internet and YouTube. I'm going to keep this video live, and you can come back and watch this to your heart's content. If you go back to the beginning, you'll see, the levels, right? So sometimes you'll see a slash chord that, let's say, C over E. And somebody might think, we're playing an E minor chord. No, you're just playing an inversion of the C. It's still a C major chord. Okay, I'm going too deep with that. I'm going to let that go. The 4 chord, the subdominant, is sort of an emotional lift away from 1. There's C. 1, 4, 5, 1. You hear these all the time. 1, 4, 5, 1. You hear them all the time. 6. The 6 is like the Moody cousin, right? It's the same as home. Let's say you got your house, on some days, this is a good analogy. On some days, your house, you got all the lights on. And it's got cookies baking, right? You're home. All the lights on and cookies baking. The One Chord. You're home. All the lights are on and there's cookies baking. Well, some days you want to come home and maybe you had a tough day at work. Or you got to have some tough conversations. And it's a little moody. You got the lights dimmed. Or maybe you got a little spooky coming over. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I just changed one note. I added the 6. So let's examine that. Let's talk about that real quick. Here's 1. C, E, G. Happy, I'm home, all the lights are on, and there's cookies baking. But you know what I want to do? I want to add the 6 on the bottom. Oh my God, I'm still home, but there's no cookies baking, and it's been a long day at work. I'm tired. Or I got me a little spooky coming over, and I got some candles lit. We're gonna have some dinner. Make sense? Okay. Type a 1 in the chat if that made sense. If you are completely lost, ask questions. G Love, I did say spooky. I did say spooky. That is a Louisiana term, a New Orleans term specifically. But yo, my little boo thing. I hate that song. God, I hate that song. Passionately. You know, there's just some songs that I just like, oh. That's one of them. The whole point though, check it. The whole point, and I'm gonna start wrapping it up and leading it down. No one person is going to tell you, in my opinion, is going to tell you what these things are, and you're just gonna get it. Not me, not anybody. At some point, you have to put them into practice. Here's the analogy that I'm gonna give that applies directly to me. I have had to just follow the story because it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense. I have had a YouTube channel since 2005. At least 2005, 2006. My YouTube channel is 20 years old. Follow the story. I started as a time capsule after Hurricane Katrina, right? I posted my first YouTube tutorial, which was Marcus Miller's Power, in 2007, okay? But the last 365 days are technically my first year as a so-called YouTuber. What does that mean? That means that I have watched so much content about making YouTube videos. I've watched so much content about lighting, about recording, about thumbnails, about editing, and all these things. But here's the truth. The needle moves when I do the work. The needle moves when I do something. If there's something, you know, and I know that there's at least one of you guys right now that spends more time watching YouTube videos than you do practicing. I know it. You watch more YouTube videos than you do practicing. You scroll, and we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. You do more of this. And I'm really trying to get a check on this. Waking up in the morning, the first thing you doing is scrolling. Going to bed, you scrolling. Come on, man. So there's something, and And it's a trip sometimes because people, some folks will say, well, this person's not a good teacher, or that's not a good teacher, and I'm like, are they not a good teacher? Or are you not a good student? Or are you not focused? Or blah, 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 blah. Or is that person just not the right teacher for you? And that's a whole different thing. But y'all see my point, though. I tied it into something, for me. I was thinking about this yesterday. I watched 2 hours of content yesterday about creating content. And at the end of that, I was like, I just watched a dude say a bunch of stuff that I kind of already knew, and that didn't move the needle for me. The discovery is in the doing. Joe, I do not do tab. You will never, ever, ever, you will never see tab from me. Not ever. I think it is a horrid way to learn. That's me. So, the one chord is the tonic. It's home. It's stable. It feels like resolution. Every chord has a function, a job to do, a role. The one chord is stable and resolved. The one chord typically leads to 4. It leads to 5. It leads to 6. Gosh, I could get deeper. I don't have time today, but all of these notes are the same. Okay, I'm going to do it. Screw it. I'm going to do it. Hang on a second. I want to see if I have if I still have this plugin. I want to see if I still have I do. Okay. You guys who are here, you're about to be, listen, we going in. I got time today. We're going in, and I think that this is going to be something wonderful for you. I didn't think about doing this before, but I'm doing it now. So how's that? Gang? Joe, I feel you, baby. I feel you. How do you guys like this? Come on. Won't he do it? I need you to type a 1 in the chat if you're feeling this. If you're feeling this, type a 1 in the chat. Okay. Now we going deep. For y'all that have stuck around, this is going to be it. There's our parent scale. C major. We're not thinking about nothing. This is just a repeating pattern. Just a repeating pattern. Just like on bass, when we look at the piano keyboard, we can start getting overwhelmed with all this stuff. We can get overwhelmed with that, but it's just repeating patterns. So, you know what? We're talking about discovery of doing. The discovery is in the doing. As I do this, some of y'all remember my live streams from a year ago. They're getting better, and they're going to continue to get better. It's the same as bass playing. You know what I mean? So there's our parent scale. The tonic, 1. It's home, it's stable, it's resolved. The notes are C, E, which is the major third, and G. Okay? I need you guys to type a 1 in the chat if you got that. C, E, and G. That's a root, major third, and a perfect fifth. Let me play it up here so you see it in treble clef as well. Okay? Root, major third, root, perfect fifth. All right? Now, the tonic, okay, the one chord is called the tonic. Okay? That's the I'm going to call that the rocket science name for it, is the tonic. It often leads to 4. Let me play the 4 in root position, and then I'm going to talk about why it says F over C. The tonic chord is, I'm sorry, not the tonic chord. The 4 chord is F. In the key of C is F, A, and C. What note do they have in common? What note does this, I need class participation on this. What note do the 1 chord, what note does C major and F major have in common? What note do they have in common? They have the note C in common. I'm gonna give a little bit more wait time. I'm gonna give a little bit more wait time on the next one. Okay? The 1 chord can also lead to the 6 chord, which is a root, a minor third, and a perfect fifth. What note does the 1 and the 6 have in common? Who's got it? The 1 chord. G-Love, you are incorrect. All 3 of these chords have 1 note in common. Here's the 1 chord. There's the 4 chord. And there's the 6 chord. Nope, all 3 chords have 1 note in common. F doesn't have an E in it. So the common note, the common tone is C. Here's C. Here's F. Here's A minor. Remember I said C being home, they all have C in common. Now, the 2 chord, subdominant is what they call it. That's the rocket science name for it. Now we're on the 2 chord. Okay? The 2 will move away from home, but not abruptly. So here's 1. All I'm doing in the left hand, just to give it some booty, is playing octaves. There's our 2 chord. Our 2 chord is called, the rocket science name for it is subdominant. Okay? 2 leads us to 5. It also can lead us to 7. Now I want you to listen. Listen very closely. Make sure you can hear this. Listen very closely. There's a difference of only one note. That B. That B is the 7, and it wants to do this. There's tension, release. Tension, release. The closer notes are together, the more tense they are. The more dissonance you have, the closer they are. Let me know if that makes sense. The closer notes are together, the more dissonance they have. So 2 to 5, watch this. Here's 2. Here's 5. That wants to go back there. This G is a part of that C chord. You dig? So here's 2, 5. Wants to go back. So 5 and 7, the 5 chord and the 7 chord, like Kyle said earlier, Kyle teaches bass. Y'all go check him out. The 5 chord says, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. It really wants us to go back home. The 5 chord wants us to go back home. By the way, I should mention, I understand that we feel like we're a nation divided, but we are one nation under a groove. You can get this shirt. It's a badass shirt, y'all. One nation under a groove. Get down to all of it. Okay. One nation, we're on the move. No, oh, God, what a melody. Think about it. Is that melody major or minor? Anyway, okay. So 2 wants to go to 5 or 7. But 5 and 7 are always want to go back home. Okay? Let's move on to that 3 chord. The 3 chord is minor. You see that? E, G, and B. But watch this. Watch this about this chord. If I just have E, G, and B by itself, I have E minor. But the moment I put a C on that, I have a C major 7. Now, the little diagram up there at the top says E minor over C. I mean, theoretically, that's right. And it's also kind of BS because you're really spelling out a C major 7 chord. That's why they call it music theory and not music facts, right? It's a C major 7. That 3 also wants us to go to 6, or can lead us to 6. Watch this. E, G, and B. If I change these 2 notes, look at that. That's the 6 chord. Same notes. We just changed a couple of them. You dig? Type a 1 in the chat if you got me. I need more coffee. E, G, and B. A, C, and E. Oh, but watch this. F, A, C. That 3 could also lead us to the 4 as well. You don't have to remember all this at one time. You don't have to get this in one sitting. Right? G Love says, so that makes the A dominant. A is not this. Yes, I mean it's a deceptive. Oh Jesus, we're in like second year theory. If we say that it's dominant, okay. Let's go to the 4. Right. So 4, 5, 1. That's why I said before, learn 1, 4, and 5. You were 4. You call the subdominant, opens things up a little bit. 4, 5, 1. I want to kind of speed through this a little bit. We'll revisit this we'll keep revisiting this. It's no thing. You're not going to get it in one sitting. Right? This is sort of the big overview. The big overview. Right? I'm going to give you guys some homework. I'm going to give you some homework here. Okay? 6 is a tonic. Can also be a tonic chord, right? It's reflective. 6, same notes as. Woo, listen at that. There's 6, and there's 4 major 7. I only changed one note. That shows you the power of the bass note, right? Woo! Listen at that. I'm not a piano player. I'm not a keyboard player. I'm a keyboard owner. Right? And then there is our... This is our shaky uncle. Our uncle that smells like diesel and bad decisions. That's that diminished you hear in those scary movies and the in the soap operas when somebody's been caught on the Coldplay cam. You see the notes on the screen? Wants to go back where? Like we talked about that, right? So 5 and 7 have the same job to do, right? They have the same job to do. They send everybody back home. 5 is going to just be like, go home. 5 does this. 5 says, go home. 7 says, go home or I'm going to chop you up in a little piece. Sorry. I could have found a better analogy, but that was the first. There's too much true crime in my life. So 7 to 1. They both have the same job. Here's your homework for today, ladies and gents. As we come upon the hour. Here's what your homework is today. Okay? Type a 1 in the chat if you're ready for your homework. Type a 1 in the chat if you're ready for your homework. Whoops. Got myself tied up here. Caught in a crossfire. I'm not morbid. Come on. Okay, here's your homework. Here's your homework. Write this down. You're going to take the key of C major. You're going to take the key of C major. This is your homework. And you're going to find different positions to play that in. I'm making this up on the spot, just so you know. Let me put on a pad here. Boy, the game I'll be giving away for free is just, it's amazing. I'm going to say it myself. Tiny, thanks for the super chat. You're going to find some way to play against some pad or something. You're going to take your sweet ass time. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do all that. You're going to take time to play that at the third fret of the A string. And you're going to get comfortable with that in that first position. And you're going to play every note available to you without moving your hand. That's what you're going to do. You're going to find ways to make it musical. You're not going to do that if you're not there. If you don't have the technical facility, you're going to find simple melodies. Whatever, you're going to figure out. But at the very least, you're going to play this scale. Get comfortable right there. Then you're going to discover how can I play more of that without moving my hand. That's all you're going to do. When you're comfortable with that, you're going to go to the 8th fret. So right now the root is on the on the A string. Then you're going to take that same idea and you're going to find that root at the 8th fret of the E string. And you're going to play that scale. You'll have played it so much here that you'll be just fine to do it here. But then you're going to find other available notes where you can play it on that G string. Got me? After you've done that and you're cool and you're Joe, we got to talk about the power bass line another time, brother. I'm sorry. So then you're going to find the next major sound, the next major chord in this scale. What is it? It's going to be the 4 chord. Lydian. That's what they call it. That's just another name for it. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And And if you have some sort of a pad, like I'm playing here, spend some time just listening to how it sounds against that root. You know what I hear? Now from the scale this major scale shade that you used down here, all I want you to do is find that 4 and see how much of that 4 chords you can play. That Lydian mode, I want you to see how much of it you can play without moving your hand. And you'll notice it's all the same notes. You're not doing any shifting. Type a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. What you're gonna notice is that I can meander now all the way through that. And it doesn't sound like the 4 until I resolve to the 4. We're not doing any shifting right now. Now go back to that other position. If you have spent enough time practicing that 1, that Ionian mode, the 1, all you're doing is starting from the 4 now. And listen, before any wise ass come in here and say, you know, listen, this is not the way, it's definitely a way. It's one way. It's one way. It's one actionable thing that you could do to get more familiar with the neck. Some of you guys have been playing for years and years and you play well, but you have no idea why you're doing what you're doing. You have no idea why things work. I'm not fussing at you. I'm just saying. So now that after you've done that, then you're going to find where the 5 is. Go back to that template, the template being the Ionian mode that you've supposedly practiced. And you say, well, where is 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, without moving my hand, how much of the 5 can I play in one position? Okay, I can only play 4 notes right there, but certainly there's more, right? Well, let me go back down. And you've already done that work, remember? Whoops, wrong note. Look at that. Look at that. There's 5. You hear that 5, 1. So now, if you've done that work, you got 2 positions where you can play 1, 4, and 5 in a 4-fret range without moving, without shifting, right? How about here? 1, 2, 3. There's my scale that you supposedly practiced already. Where's 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much of the 5 can I play right there without moving my hand? There's 5. Ah! So there are the 3. I almost said 3. 3. Bruh man from the 5th floor. 3. There are 3 major chords in a major scale. They are the 1, the 4, and the 5. So the homework that I just gave you, if there is absolutely no way, in my opinion, that if you replaced your scrolling time with, you know what, I'm just talking about one fingering of the major scale, only one. The rabbit hole goes deeper than that, obviously. I'm talking about one fingering. In 2 positions. If you find out how the 1, the 4, and the 5 work together in just those positions, a light bulb is going to go off like it hasn't before. I promise you. I promise you. And when it does, this is what I ask of you. I don't ask a lot. I don't be on here begging for cash apps and super chats and all that. Although, if you want to do them, I'll take them. What I'm asking is that you like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and then what I want you to do, if that worked for you over this weekend, what I want you to do is send me an email. Send me a message with things that you discovered, right? Let's take that whole idea, and I swear on everything, I'm getting off of here. Let's go to A major. Gosh. There's A starting from the 2nd finger. We're only looking at a 2nd finger shape right now. Where's 4? Where's 5? That's a lot of game. 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 It's a lot of game. That's one position. If you want to go up here, now you already know that this is 1. Here's 4. 5, 1. Three chords, that's your homework. And every god doggone key. Every key. Find a note, start the major scale from that note. G. What can I do there? 1. There's 1. There's 4. And there's 5. I purposely am saying don't shift. Don't shift. All the stuff is going to be right there under your fingers. And before anybody gives me any shit in the comments, that is not the end. That's the start. It's not the end. That's the start. You dig? Because after that, you could... I swear to God, I have other things to do today. I got to change strings. I got a gig later. Blah, 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 blah. But watch this. Watch this. Let's go back to C major. Let's go back to C major. You know that each one of those chords is going to have a pentatonic associated with it as well. Here's C major. Now I'm going to take out the half steps. Gosh, look at that. That's C. All I did was take away the half steps. Here's F Lydian. Let me take out the half steps. Now for this one, I have to shift. Here's G dominant. Watch this. Sorry. Now I'm going to depart from the fingering that I was using. Those of you just walking in, you just missed a whole lot. So you have to rewind. You have to rewind. But I'm telling you, if you do this over the weekend, if you concentrate on those three chords over the weekend, I'm willing to guarantee that your understanding of the neck is going to change, right? The decision-making process about what you play and how you play it is going to change, right? So what I'd like you to do is send me an email. Send me an email. Send me a message. Send me something that I can use to continue to promote this channel. And you say, hey, man, you know, the dude is a little weird sometimes, a little silly sometimes, a little goofy sometimes maybe a little long-winded. But I got something that I didn't get before, right? Do that for your boy, okay? Now, I got to go start my day. I was supposed to be off of here 20 minutes ago. I know it was a lot of information, but it ain't rocket science. It is definitely pocket science. Try this weekend. Replace some scroll time with the things that I told you in this video. If you just joined, scroll back and watch some of the things that I just did. It's going to be good for you. Peace, y'all. Two fingers.